There are fresh questions this morning over the COVID vaccine at the centre of Australia's rollout, with Europe's drug regulator finding a possible link between the AstraZeneca jab and very rare cases of blood clots. The European Medicines Agency has made the finding, while stressing that the risk of dying from COVID-19 is far greater than the risk from the vaccine side effects.
Europe has reported 169 cases of blood clots in the brain out of 34 million doses. It's the latest blow to Australia's vaccination strategy, which relies heavily on the AstraZeneca jab and is already dogged by major supply problems. We'll have the latest from Canberra in a moment, but first here's Europe correspondent Linton Besser in London.
Health officials in Amsterdam and London have been investigating this issue for several weeks and overnight held extensive scientific briefings on the benefits and risks of the AstraZeneca vaccine. And in both cases, health officials and medical experts emphasised the safety and effectiveness of the AstraZeneca vaccine, particularly when compared to the serious illness and risk of death posed by COVID-19. But evidence is growing that there's a link between the AstraZeneca jab and this very serious but extremely rare form of blood clotting. And in the UK, that now means that those aged under 30 will be offered an alternative vaccine where one is available.
We are not advising a stop to any vaccination for any individual in any age group. We are advising a preference for one vaccine over another vaccine for a particular age group, really out of the utmost caution rather than because we have any serious safety concerns.
The frequency of these clots is extremely rare. In the UK, of 20 million AstraZeneca vaccine doses given, only 79 cases were reported. Of these, 19 people died. The British drugs regulator says the risk of contracting a blood clotting disorder after receiving the vaccine is about 4 in 1 million.
Changes in preference for vaccines are business as usual, and this is a course correction. But this is a kind of massive beast that we are driving along at enormous pace with enormous success.
In Amsterdam, the European Medicines Agency did not come to the same recommendation. The EMA said it is now recommending only that the vaccine label be updated to identify these rare forms of blood clots as a potential side effect.
Based on the current available evidence, specific risk factors such as age, gender or previous medical history of clotting disorders have not been able to be confirmed, as the rare events are seen in all ages and in men and women.
Individual European states will now make their own decision about whether to adjust their vaccination programs, with some already restricting the use of AstraZeneca to only older populations. But health experts on both sides of the channel are firmly in agreement. The incidence of these kinds of rare blood clots is so vanishingly small, it could only have shown up in a mass vaccination rollout of the kind we're seeing around the world. They also agree the vaccine is already saving thousands and thousands of lives.
So that's Linton Besser in London with the situation in Europe, and we've just had a response from our government. Tom Lowry's here to tell us all about it. Good morning, Tom. So what's the government had to say?
Yeah, good morning, Liz. So we're not seeing any sort of immediate sort of knee-jerk or snap reaction with significant changes to the vaccine rollout here in Australia, but the federal government says it's asked the TGA and its vaccine experts to immediately consider this new advice coming out of Europe. So that'll be considered by the Therapeutic Goods Administration. As I said, that advice will then be passed on to the AHPPC, which is a team made up of Australia's Chief Medical Officer and all the state and territory First Medical Officers as well. That advice will then be passed on to National Cabinet, which is meeting tomorrow. That's the meeting of the Prime Minister and all the state and territory leaders, where they'll consider this issue along with all the other matters going on with the national vaccine rollout for the moment. But for now, at least, there is no huge reaction to this, no significant changes to the vaccine rollout. The government says it considers safety the priority above all else in this vaccine rollout, but no significant tweaks at this point.
All right, Tom Lowry, we'll continue following it throughout the morning. All these these developments. Thank you.